Welcome, warriors of history, to the most legendary tale ever told. I'm Mark, and this is the story that will shake your understanding of power, conquest, and human determination.
And I'm Anna. Oh my God, Mark, I am so pumped for this. We're talking about Genghis Khan, the man who built the largest contiguous empire in human history. This isn't just history, this is pure legend.
Anna, prepare yourself and our listeners for a journey across the windswept steppes of Mongolia, where a boy born clutching a blood clot in his fist would rise to become the master of the world. This is Episode 1, The Making of a Conqueror.
A blood clot? Mark, you're already giving me chills. Tell me you're going to explain that omen because that sounds absolutely epic.
Oh, we're going there, Anna. But first, picture this. The year is 1160, and we're standing on the vast Mongol steppes. Imagine endless grasslands stretching to the horizon, no trees, just wind-carved earth under an infinite sky. This is a land where only the strongest survive.
I can feel that wind cutting through me. It's like nature itself is testing everyone who dares to live there. No wonder it forged the toughest people on earth.
Exactly. This isn't farmland where you can settle down and get comfortable. This is pure survival mode. The Mongols lived by herding animals, moving with the seasons, making alliances that could save your life or end it. Every decision was life or death, Anna.
No way! So these weren't just nomads wandering around, they were like elite survival experts. Every single day was a test of strength, cunning, and leadership. That's incredible.
But let me paint you an even more vivid picture of what life was actually like on these steppes, Anna. We're talking about a civilization on horseback. Mongol children learned to ride before they could walk properly. By age 4, they were galloping across the grasslands. Can you imagine that level of skill and fearlessness?
4 years old and already galloping? That's incredible. So these weren't just tough people. They were literally born in the saddle. No wonder they became the most feared cavalry in history. They must have moved like centaurs across those endless grasslands.
And their survival skills were absolutely legendary. They could navigate by stars, predict weather from cloud formations, and track animals across vast distances. They drank mare's milk, fermented into arag, and could survive for weeks on dried meat and cheese. These people were the ultimate survivalists, Anna.
Fermented mare's milk? Okay, that's definitely not in my diet. But seriously, these are people who turned harsh survival into an art form. They were completely self-sufficient and mobile, perfect preparation for building a world empire.
And the political intrigue was mind-boggling. Picture this. There were the Mongols, but also the Tatars, the Merkits, the Naimans, the Karaites, and dozens of smaller clans. Each group had their own leaders, their own grievances, their own shifting alliances. It was like a massive chess game where one wrong move meant total annihilation.
So many different groups, and they all had to constantly calculate who to trust, who to fight, who to marry their children to for alliances. The mental strain alone would be exhausting. Everyone was both a potential ally and a mortal enemy.
And the political landscape? Pure chaos. Imagine dozens of tribes constantly raiding each other, forming alliances one day, betraying each other the next. Blood feuds lasting generations, revenge cycles that never ended. This was a world where charisma meant survival, and one miscalculation meant death.
Oh my God, it's like Game of Thrones, but real. The stakes were literally life and death every single day. And into this absolute chaos, a legend was about to be born.
Anna, listeners, here comes the moment that changed world history. Near Dalun Boldog, around 1162, a child was born to Yasuge, a noble Mongol chieftain, and his iron-willed wife, Hoelun. But this wasn't just any birth.
Here it comes, the blood clot. I'm on the edge of my seat.
The baby emerged, clutching a blood clot in his tiny fist. To the Mongols, this was the ultimate omen, a sign that this child was destined to spill blood and conquer the world. They named him Temüjin, and the universe itself seemed to announce, "Behold, your future master."
Chills. Literal chills. Can you imagine being there and seeing that omen? The midwives must have known they were witnessing the birth of destiny itself. That gives me goosebumps.
But let's talk more about Hoylan, Anna, because this woman deserves her own legend. She wasn't just Temujin's mother, she was a political mastermind in her own right. Originally, she was kidnapped from another tribe by Yasuge, which was actually a common way marriages happened on the steppes.
Wait, she was kidnapped? And that was normal? Okay, so we're talking about a completely different world with different rules, but it sounds like she made the best of her situation and became a powerful figure herself.
Exactly. And when tragedy struck and Yasuge was murdered, Hoylan showed incredible strength. She held her family together with fierce determination, taught her children survival skills, and instilled in Temüjin the importance of loyalty and family bonds. She was his first teacher in leadership.
So Hoylan was like his first mentor in survival and leadership. No wonder he understood the importance of strong, capable advisors throughout his life. She taught him that true strength comes from protecting those who depend on you.
But fate had cruel lessons to teach this future conqueror first. Young Temüjin was betrothed to a girl named Börte from another clan, a strategic alliance to strengthen his father's position. Everything seemed set for a privileged life as a chieftain's son.
Oh no, I can feel the tragedy coming. You said seemed. Something terrible is about to happen, isn't it?
Anna, this is where the legend truly begins. When Temüjin was just a boy, his father Yasuge was invited to a feast by the Tatars, their ancestral enemies. But this wasn't hospitality, it was assassination. They poisoned him.
No way! They poisoned his father? That's so brutal. A feast of death. And poor Temüjin, he's just a child and his whole world is about to collapse.
It gets worse. With Yasuge dead, his allies immediately abandoned the family. Can you believe it? They left Hoylan, Temüjin, and his siblings to starve on the steppes. Talk about betrayal. From privilege to desperate survival in a matter of days.
That is absolutely heartbreaking and terrifying. A royal family reduced to scavenging for food? But Mark, I bet this is where we see the steel in Temujin's character forming. Adversity creates legends.
Absolutely brilliant, Anna. They survived on wild onions, berries, fish, whatever they could find. Helun, this incredible woman, kept her children alive through sheer willpower. And young Temüjin learned the hardest lesson of all. In this world, you can only count on yourself. Enduring those desperate years of survival, Anna, there were moments that almost broke them. Temüjin once killed his own half-brother Börte over food. Imagine the hunger and desperation that would drive a child to such an extreme. This harsh lesson taught him that survival sometimes requires terrible choices.
He killed his own half-brother? Over food? Oh my God, that shows just how desperate their situation was. That's such a dark moment, but it shows the brutal reality of what they were facing. Survival literally meant life or death decisions every single day. His mother sounds like an absolute warrior, keeping her family alive when the whole world turned against them. This is like the ultimate origin story, tragedy and survival forging the ultimate emperor of the world.
But listeners, the trials were just beginning. As a teenager, Temüjin was captured by the Taichiud clan, former allies who now saw him as a threat. They put him in a wooden yoke, like a prisoner, humiliating the future conqueror of the world.
They put him in a yoke? Like an animal? Ugh, that makes me so angry. but I have a feeling this is about to become the most epic escape story ever told.
You're absolutely right. Picture this, a moonless night, the guards drunk from celebration. Young Temüjin sees his chance. He escapes into the darkness, still wearing that wooden yoke. But here's the incredible part. A commoner named Sorkhan Shira finds him and decides to help. And that escape from the wooden yoke was absolutely legendary. Picture this. Temüjin had been wearing that humiliating collar for days, paraded like a common criminal. But he observed everything. Guard rotations, camp layouts, who was sympathetic. When that perfect moment came, he didn't just run. He had a plan.
So, even while being humiliated and tortured, he was gathering intelligence? That's incredible strategic thinking. He turned his captivity into reconnaissance. This shows he was already thinking like a master tactician. Wait, a commoner helped him? That's beautiful. This shows Temüjin that loyalty isn't about bloodlines. It's about character. This moment is teaching him how to be a different kind of leader.
Anna, you've hit on something crucial. This escape taught Temüjin that the most loyal followers come from merit, not birth. He started attracting nöker, sworn companions who chose to follow him based on his character, not his family name. This was revolutionary thinking. And this nöker system he developed was absolutely revolutionary, Anna. These weren't just soldiers, they were sworn brothers who pledged their lives to him personally. Unlike traditional tribal warriors who fought for their clan, these men fought for Temüjin himself. It created unbreakable loyalty.
Personal loyalty over tribal loyalty. That's genius. He's creating bonds that transcend traditional clan structures. So he's not just building an army, he's building a brotherhood that's completely devoted to him and his vision. That's incredible. He's building the foundation for a completely new kind of society. Merit over bloodline. No wonder he was able to unite all these warring tribes. But what about his love story? He was supposed to marry Börte, right?
Anna, now comes one of the greatest love stories in history. Temüjin does marry Börte, and she becomes his anchor, his strength. But their happiness is about to be shattered by another devastating attack. And their marriage ceremony was incredible. When Temüjin finally married Börte, her family gave him a sable coat as a wedding gift. But here's the brilliant part. He didn't keep it. He gave it to Khan as tribute, securing a powerful ally. Even his wedding gifts became political strategy.
He gave away his wedding gift to build an alliance? That shows incredible long-term thinking. Most people would keep a precious sable coat, but he saw it as an investment in his future power. Everything was calculated. Oh no, please don't tell me something happens to Börte. I can't handle it. What kind of attack?
The Merkit raiders strike in the night. They're seeking revenge for an old grievance and they abduct Börte. Can you imagine Temüjin's rage and desperation? His beloved wife stolen in the darkness. This is personal now.
They took his wife? Oh my God, the fury he must have felt. This isn't just about politics anymore. This is about love and honor. Tell me he gets her back.
Here's where Temüjin shows his political genius. He needs allies for this rescue mission, so he approaches two powerful leaders, Togru Han, who owed his father a debt, and Jamukha, his blood brother. This alliance will crush the Merkits.
His blood brother? That sounds so powerful, like they swore an unbreakable oath. And building this alliance shows he's already thinking like an emperor, using diplomacy and obligation to build power.
The rescue mission is epic. Picture thousands of warriors thundering across the steppes. They find the Merkit camp and launch a devastating surprise attack. Börte is rescued, but when she gives birth to a son named Jochi, there are whispers about paternity. The rescue mission was absolutely epic. When they found the Merca camp, Temüjin didn't just charge in blindly. They coordinated a dawn attack from multiple directions using the steppe's rolling hills for cover. And when they called Börte's name across the battlefield, she recognized Temüjin's voice and ran toward her salvation.
She recognized his voice across a battlefield? That's so romantic and powerful. Can you imagine that moment when she heard him calling her name and knew she was saved? This is like the greatest rescue story ever told. Oh, wow. That's complicated. But knowing what we know about Temüjin's character, I bet he handles this with wisdom and strength. How does he deal with the uncertainty?
This is what makes him legendary, Anna. Temüjin claims Jochi as his son without question. He shows that leadership means making tough decisions and standing by them. This pragmatic strength becomes a cornerstone of his leadership style.
That's so powerful. He chooses love and family over doubt and suspicion. But Mark, you mentioned his blood brother Jamukha. Something tells me this relationship is going to get complicated.
Anna, you have incredible instincts. The relationship between Temüjin and Jamukha becomes the defining conflict of this era. These former blood brothers are about to become the ultimate rivals in an ideological war that will determine the future of Mongolia.
An ideological war between blood brothers? This is like the ultimate betrayal story. What did they disagree about? This sounds epic.
It's the clash between Old World and New World. Jamukha represents aristocratic privilege, the idea that noble blood determines who leads. But Temüjin believes in meritocracy, that the best person should lead regardless of birth. This philosophical divide will shape history. The breaking point between Jamukha and Temüjin came during a dramatic moment, Anna. Picture this. They're on a hunting expedition together, and their followers start arguing about who should lead. When Jamukha's people insisted on noble privilege, while Temüjin's supporters backed merit, the philosophical divide became a real political crisis.
A hunting trip turned into a political crisis? That's incredible. So their philosophical differences weren't just theoretical, they were creating real-world conflicts between their followers. The personal became political. Oh my God, that's so relevant even today. Old privilege versus new merit. And I bet all the people who had been left behind by the aristocratic system started flocking to Temüjin. He's giving them hope.
Exactly. Men with nothing to lose, outcasts, commoners who had been ignored by the traditional system. They all saw Temüjin as their champion. He wasn't just building an army, he was building a new civilization based on merit and loyalty.
That's revolutionary. He's not just conquering, he's transforming society itself. But I imagine the established powers didn't like this threat to their privilege.
You're absolutely right. Even his patron Khan eventually turns against him. Court intrigue and jealousy poison their relationship. Temüjin faces another deadly betrayal, an ambush that nearly kills him. But each betrayal only makes his system stronger.
He's like steel being forged in fire. Every betrayal, every hardship is making him stronger and wiser. I can feel the legend building. He's learning that he can only trust the system he creates himself.
And then comes the final consolidation of power. In 1203, Temüjin crushes the Kurultai. In 1204, he destroys the Naiman. These aren't just military victories, Anna. He's absorbing his enemies, turning them into assets. Every defeat becomes part of his growing strength.
That's brilliant strategy. Instead of just destroying his enemies, he's incorporating them. He's building something unprecedented, a unified Mongolia. Can you imagine how terrifying and inspiring that must have been?
And listeners, here's what makes this system revolutionary. Meritocracy means the best talents rise. Discipline and law replace chaos. Social protection for all. Religious tolerance. He's creating a decimal organization system that will conquer the world. And his decimal system was pure genius, Hana. Instead of traditional clan structures, he organized armies in units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, called tumens. This broke up old tribal loyalties and mixed warriors from different clans, creating loyalty to the system rather than blood ties.
That's brilliant organizational psychology. By mixing the clans, he's forcing them to build new loyalties based on shared experience and mutual dependence. It's like he's rewiring their entire social structure to serve his vision. Religious tolerance? That's so ahead of its time. While Europe is fighting religious wars, he's creating a system where everyone can contribute regardless of faith. This is why his empire lasted so long.
And now, Anna, comes the moment that changes world history forever. The year 1206. Picture the greatest assembly of Mongol leaders ever gathered, the great kurultai. They have come to witness the birth of an empire. And that great kurultai was an absolutely unprecedented event. Picture thousands of warriors, shamans, and tribal leaders gathered around the sacred felt tent. They raised a white banner, the symbol of universal rule, and for the first time in steppe history, all the Mongol tribes acknowledged one supreme leader.
A white banner of universal rule. The symbolism is incredible. And shamans were there too, so this wasn't just a political ceremony, it was a spiritual coronation. The eternal sky itself was blessing this transformation. I have literal goosebumps. This is it. This is the moment Temüjin becomes Genghis Khan. I can picture thousands of warriors gathered under the eternal sky. Tell me about this legendary moment.
In 1206, before the assembled tribes of Mongolia, Temüjin is proclaimed Genghis Khan, the universal ruler. The boy born clutching a blood clot has become the emperor of the steppes. But Anna, this isn't the end. This is just the beginning.
Genghis Khan, the universal ruler? Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. From abandoned orphan to emperor of the world. This is the greatest transformation story ever told. But you said this is just the beginning?
Because now, this unified Mongolia is about to explode beyond the steppes. China, Central Asia, the Islamic world, Eastern Europe, they have no idea what's coming. The boy who survived on wild berries is about to reshape the entire world. And the world he's about to unleash his power upon has no idea what's coming. The Jin dynasty of China thinks these steppes nomads are just another barbarian nuisance. The Khwarezmid Empire believes their walls and armies are impregnable. They're about to learn they're completely wrong.
They're about to face a completely new kind of warfare. Mobility, psychological warfare, and that incredible decimal organization system. These ancient empires have never seen anything like what's heading their way. And listeners, you have to share your thoughts with us. What amazed you most about Temüjin's rise to power? The survival story? The revolutionary meritocracy? The epic betrayals and triumphs? Drop your thoughts in the comments because we want to hear from you.
This is just episode 1 of the most incredible saga in human history. Next time, we'll witness Genghis Khan's war machine in action as he conquers China and destroys kingdoms that had stood for centuries. Prepare yourselves for military genius on an unprecedented scale.
And remember, warriors, this isn't just another conquest story. What made Genghis Khan's empire revolutionary was that it wasn't built on oppression. It was built on opportunity. Skilled craftsmen, scholars, and administrators from conquered territories became valued members of the empire.
Exactly. He wasn't just destroying civilizations, he was absorbing them and making them stronger. That meritocratic vision from his youth became the foundation for the largest empire in human history. What an incredible transformation, from abandoned orphan to world transformer. I can barely contain my excitement. From blood clot to universal ruler, this has been the most epic origin story ever. Until next time, keep that conquering spirit alive.
Remember, warriors of history, greatness isn't born, it's forged through trials, betrayals, and unbreakable will. This has been Mark and Anna bringing you the legend of Genghis Khan. Until the steppes call again.
Warriors of history, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the making of the greatest conqueror the world has ever known. We can't wait to continue this legend with you.